Hello, this is Miss Walls and welcome back. Today we'll be talking about adaptations. This is just going to be a quick review over what we've already talked about just to kind of remind you about what's going on. Now, when we're talking about what an adaptation is any trait that gives an organism a better chance of surviving and reproducing in a particular environment. So we've talked about this before and mutations and all that kind of stuff, but this is a reminder for what exactly an adaptation is. So there are three types of adaptations. The first one is structural. A structural adaptation is any physical characteristic that increases the chance of surviving and reproducing. And remember, reproducing is really important because you have to have a chance of passing those genes on for it to be considered helpful. So examples of this, we can talk about camouflage, thorns, mimicry. It is any physical characteristic of any living organism. We often think just about animals, but any living organism, a physical characteristic. So think body structure, plant structure, maybe it's the roots of a plant or something like that. And you can see in my little picture, I've got an octopus there. Octopus they have several structural adaptations that you can see in the picture. They are also masters of disguise. The next type of adaptation is a physiological adaptation. Physiological, remember, is related to the function of the body. And this is something that's going to increase, again, the chance of surviving and reproducing, but it's the function. So it can be an organism that produces venom that it injects into its prey. It can be something that produces a poison. It can be a plant that produces a poison too. It does not have to be an animal. We talked about some organisms that have ways to get excess salt out of their body. They live in marine environments and they have a way to get excess salt out. So there's salty tears, some have a salty mucus that they excrete. So things like that. Anything that's related to the function of the body. Some organisms have special adaptations, special digestive systems, and that's a function of the body. You can see right here, there's a little poison dart frog. They excrete a poison onto their skin that makes it, so the animals don't eat them. And then the last type of adaptation is a behavioral adaptation. And just like any behavior, it's something that's related to the way an organism acts. And this increases their chance of survival just because they act different, than other organisms. And so it can be, they are nocturnal. Some, remember, are nocturnal because that helps them survive by avoiding other predators during the day. So they're active at night. Of course, there are predators active at night too. So, they have that adaptation as well. Some are arboreal. This means they live in trees. You can see the little sloth living in a tree, and that helps them avoid predators on the ground. They're chameleons are a great example. They move kind of funny to blend in, so you can't see them as well. There are all sorts of examples of behavioral adaptations, and so they behave in a way that helps increase the chance of survival. A lot of mating dances and stuff, especially in birds, if you were interested, those are behavioral adaptations. Now, to be clear, not everything you see on an organism is an adaptation. It's only considered an adaptation if it increases the chance of surviving and reproducing. If it doesn't affect survival, not an adaptation. So there are some blind cavefish that have vestigial eyes. It's not an adaptation, they don't use them. So it doesn't help them survive. You have muscles that actually cause your hair to stand up and cause goosebumps. It's useless in you. You don't have enough hair for that to keep you warm or scare away your predators. But in your dog, that'd be helpful because he can puff up and then, scare away other dogs or, whatever's threatening them. But, so just keep in mind, when you're looking for adaptations for your examples, not every trait is an adaptation. It has to help them survive in some way. If you have any questions, please let me know.